Episode of Real Dad Movement Podcast. In this episode, we talk about championship habits. You are what you repeatedly do. Feels good. Feels good to have my voice back. Through summertime, generally there's a period where I just get nailed with hay fever, and that smashes me. I don't know if it's the pollen in the gum tree out the front or what, but ultimately, every now and then, every year or couple of years, I'll lose my voice for a couple of days, and then it comes back. So hence the reason why it's been a few days in between podcasts. But here we are. You don't realize how much you actually depend on and require your voice and your throat and speaking in life, obviously when you're in the position I'm in as well. But really, when we're looking at life, before we dive into this episode, when you look across the board of your life, there are a couple of key things. Basically, your vision and the words you speak are a huge part of that. Like, that's got to be over 90%. Yes, the words you think as well, your thought processes, but that's a massive part of life as human beings, and one that we ultimately take for granted. And I'll save that for another episode where we dive into the senses and utilizing them to serve you. But this episode is talking about championship habits. It's really funny. As I continue to grow and evolve, I start to see more and more the role of a high performance coach that ultimately dives into being a habit coach, helping you create the right elements in your life with structure and systems and patterns and behaviors, all that sort of stuff, which I'll dive into in the right order. You need the right order for this. That creates a level of freedom and control where it helps fathers, high-performing fathers. We're not here to save anyone. High-performing fathers get their shit together, buy back 15 to 20 hours a week of their time for themselves and their families, and ultimately create better relationships and establish better relationships with themselves and their families. I'm not going to say I wear three hats as a relationship coach, but absolutely, that's what we're working on. We're working on your relationship with yourself and the value of time and the quality of time the quality of the time that you spend on this earth. Like, how are you spending it? Always two questions I ask dads. How much time do you think you have? And how much quality do you think you've had? When we start to break this down, we start to see that, yes, habits form your life. And when I look back through periods of my life, especially as an elite athlete moving forward, the identity and the identity shift that took place in many different periods of my life were dictated on and dictated upon with the habits I had in place. What am I doing more often than not? What am I doing consistently? What does this look like? How is this moving me forward? And asking yourself quality questions of that, asking yourself the right context of what I'm actually doing. Like, what does this mean? How is this moving me forward? Or am I just spinning the wheels? Am I just going around in circles, or the mouse in the spinning wheel, so to speak? I've got all these different areas of my life. You know what? I can do better. I might be successful here and there, but I can actually do better than that. I went from good to great, but now over time, great just simply falls back into being good because it's a standard that I've held for so long, yet I'm chewing up more time and experiencing and living that. See, this is the problem. When you don't consistently chase growth, you don't have a hunger for growth. Because ultimately, the only creation that ever really matters, regardless of what you do externally and outside of yourself, is you. Who do you continually create yourself to become? Who do you continually create the version of you that's going to ultimately live on through your children? What does that continuity look like? Your integrity, your character, what caliber of man keeps turning up? When you ask these questions, it's really funny because it's not a large, overwhelming thing. We see the same patterns at play here with working with so many fathers over the years. And I see the same things a lot when it comes down to ultimately A, their belief system, but B, what they're repeatedly doing. And what they're repeatedly doing can really be dialed into a couple of key things. And two of those key things is understanding the conscious and subconscious mind. Now, there's a couple of different arguments, but it generally falls around that 90 to 91% mark. Like 90 to 91% of your operating system is occupied by your subconscious, your brain. So when we're talking about operating power, how your brain functions, what you're doing, monstrous. 9/10 is autonomous. Like, this should be blowing your mind, man. Like, you want to live life, and what every human being desires is a level of significance. And for fathers, it's family, self, and service, the three things that make your life. What are you doing for yourself? What are you doing for your family? What are you doing for the value you add and contribute to the world? This brings achievement. This brings meaning. This brings fulfillment. This brings purpose. But the significance is something that we ultimately chase and we desire. Now, this significance that we desire and want to have in place in life is 90% autonomous. It's already done for us. Isn't that amazing? And that legacy that lives on through our family and children is one that is ultimately borne out through your actions. How are you standing up for your family? How are you standing up for your children and what they do as they get older, and supporting and guiding them and leading them through leading your own life first? This is an incredible thing. Make no mistake though, the 90% is ruled by the 10. It's almost like Pareto's principles. What's the 10% that's going to give me the 90%? It's what you consciously choose to do, how you consciously turn up, and the presence that you carry forth there. This is a big breakthrough for me. When I had my third child, Roman, it's about nearly 5 months ago now, time flies. When I had Roman, they all taught me lessons. The first one was looking in the mirror and identifying the man and who I am and what I need and desire and deserve inside of myself to create change in the world from the inside out, not seeking external validation. Who am I and who do I choose to be? Clarity on myself from the inside out. It must come in that order. That's why pills, shakes, and all the other bullshit is not the absolute answer. This is someone who owns a supplements company as well. Like, we make our own supplements. And I'm telling you, it is not the sole answer. Now, when we're looking at areas of your life that you need to improve, yes, we have to work from the inside out, but we also need to value our time. This is what the second daughter taught me, Lillian, being valuable with your time and valuing it with the environment that you immerse yourself in, the people you immerse yourself in or around, and the actions that you take to move your life forward. Third one, Roman, little man, taught me the value of energy. It's why I'm fit and healthy and strong. You see me, I've got good posture, good stature in what I do, how I carry myself. I'm fit and strong. I can lift heavy. I can go for miles and miles with cardiovascular, covering every area of my life to give me more performance. I've got a bigger gas tank and it's filled with ultra premium for massive mileage. It's why I can perform and do what I can do. All three of those, though, brought the greatest lesson of all, which is the identity and belief systems you have, which ultimately are built off what you focus on. And what you focus on becomes the autonomy in your life. This was a big breakthrough for me. Focus equals presence. Presence equals control in your reality. And this is my big point, wrapping it around again, just talking about ultimately, having the period of control and what human beings desire. Yes, we want significance, and with that, but all of that, it comes from creating control and certainty in your life from the inside out. You influence outside of you. I influence my family. I influence the dads of RDM. I influence locals in the community. Yeah, awesome. Influence my wife as much as I can. It's control and certainty. It's what human beings desire, because that brings a level of significance, the type of significance they want on their terms. This is critical, man. Focus equals presence. Presence equals a higher element of in the moment, living in your current reality, which creates a better level of autonomy in your life, which creates better habits in your life, which gives you more control and certainty to live a rich and full life. And let me just break it down here. Like, when we're looking at, and I wrote a note here, this was fascinating, one of the coaching sessions with the dads. The definition of identity, right? We're talking about belief systems, habits, who you are, who you choose to become. It's who you choose to be in that given moment, plus actions to back up the above. So actions to back up that choice, that decision, to make it truth and to reinforce it, to make it autonomous, to make it part of your recording, to make it part of your subconscious. That's it. That's all your identity is. It's a choice. It constantly changes, which means habits are a very funny thing. You can do it 3 times and it becomes a habit. You can do it 300 times and it becomes a habit. It comes down to a belief system where you choose to acknowledge what you're currently doing is a part of who you are. This is the double-sided coin. What you're doing subconsciously, you must consciously be aware of and reflect on and review. You don't have to do it all the time. That's why it's subconscious. That's why it's autonomous. I'm not constantly reviewing every single car drive that I make where I'm driving and steering and turning and hitting the brakes, watching the lights, watching pedestrians, watching other cars and viewing my surroundings. It's not like I review that in the moment all the time. That's subconscious. That's automatic. It's autonomous. Simple. But reviewing and reflecting what you're doing ultimately gives you more power over who you choose to become and who you can continue to become, and then backing that up with action so it becomes your truth and so that it's reinforced. This is a powerful thing. Like all the books, all the resources, all the courses, everything I've done around habits and habit coaches, I look at them like, yeah, these guys are good, but they're so vanilla. They don't understand the power of how you can apply this on a specific level for fathers and the order and constructs which it must be made. And this is important as well, because if we knew how to apply the answers, you can have the answers. Don't worry about that. You can find the answers anywhere. If you knew how to apply the answers, then you'd already be where you want to go. You'd already be where you want to get to. That's not the case, is it? For all of us. This is the thing. If all it took was information, well, the world would be skinny, rich, and happy, right? It's the typical things that people perceive as value or success in this world. So when we're looking at habits and defining who it is you are, a large portion of it comes down to your belief system. It's very interesting. Peeling the onion layers back. This doesn't mean that you need to go and do some sort of personality test. It doesn't mean that you need to go see some psych and get a review analysis of what happened when you're 4 years of age and all this sort of shit. And look, I'm not castrating anyone in any specific industry. What I'm talking about is you as a high-performing father in your life, getting your shit together, removing the chaos and alleviating the stress that you will face by having the power to overcome these hurdles because of how you turn up, how you present, and who you are in what you do, your actions and your choices that are then backed up by actions that are then reinforce the choices that both become autonomous, but you're having the period to reflect and review consciously to make sure that what you are recording and consistently re-recording over the back of the brain, the hind, the subconscious part of who you are, is something that's being nourished and nurtured. So if you're watching TV just to relax, and that's the story and the bullshit you fed yourself, ask yourself this question: is me relaxing the most effective way done through watching the idiot box? My dad used to call it. He still watches TV though. I don't know why. I said, Dad, why are you watching the TV? He called the idiot box. It's like, yeah, sometimes I feel like just being an idiot. I just want to be a zombie and zone out. Fair enough. Your call, mate. I choose to be present in many areas of my life and most areas of my life. And that doesn't mean I don't like to relax. Of course I do. I laugh every single day. I piss myself laughing. I'm a big smartass, very witty, very sharp in a lot of different ways. That brings me a lot of humor and a lot of joy in my life, 100%. But that does not mean that I don't live my life with intent and purpose. You fucking know I do. If you've been listening to my podcast and following me, you know that I don't muck around. And none of us are here to muck around, sure, nor should we be. Perfect thing that I like to reference is Pinocchio. Like, he goes to the island, they all turn into donkeys through doing donkey shit. So what happens? He starts to turn into a donkey. Of course he does. Look at the environment that he's in. Look at the rituals that they're taking part in and what they're doing. Of course that's going to become your life. So ask yourself this question: if sitting down in front of the idiot box and watching TV 2 hours a night is your way to relax, is that moving you forward and evolving you into becoming a higher level man, higher caliber man? Got nothing against TV. My little girls, they watch, and I jump in every now and then and might watch a few minutes here and there of a movie and laugh with them. Their latest one is Boss Baby. They love that one, which it's pretty funny. A lot of that's driven towards adults. I watched it a few years ago. And for me, the reason why, and it's one of my later podcasts, I think 2 or 3 ago, talking about sedation and distraction, the reason why I don't have alcohol and watch television is because it sedates and distracts who I am and who I can continue to become and where I apply my focus. Focus equals presence. If where you're focusing doesn't have a higher level of self-presence in what you can do to move forward the right way, then ultimately your reality is skewed and it's not going to give you the control and certainty that you want. The end. Doesn't mean you should give up television. I'm not telling you what to do. Do whatever you want. But for me, the caliber of man that I continue to evolve into and what I choose to do, and having 2 to 3 hours every single day of my time back at a higher level. This morning I was up at 4 a.m. at the gym, 4:30. Went home, got the kids ready, helped out the wife with the children, got them set. We all took them to school. Then I had a bit of a brunch or a morning date with my wife. Then came into the office, hooked into some work. Here we are again, doing more work on different areas, different stages of RDM, different levels, and building out the day to win. Because make no mistake, it's such a simple truth. Either you run the day or the day runs you. That's it. Like the fucking end. Now, when we want to expand on that, and when I say the end, I'm saying that as a statement in itself is a complete truth. But if we want to expand on that, awesome. Ask the question, how do we run the day, Al? Good question. Why don't you find things that are a higher level priority in your life, which for every man and father should be family, self, and service. Dial into those three things. Find out what you need to do, the one thing for those three areas of your life to move your day forward 1%. So the next present moment in the next day is a higher version of who you are and those around you that you love. And then the next day is 1% better the next day, because chances are you'll be alive in 5 years' time, which means guess what? When you've got 1,800 odd days and millions more moments, when we're defining a moment as anything from 3 seconds to 3 minutes, you have a lot of moments every single day. There's a lot of transitions in those moments too, to multiple environments, multiple moods, emotions, actions, feelings, how you identify and who you identify as. And look, I'm not talking about all the bullshit out there where people are saying, I identify as a fucking bed lamp and I identify as that light post over there. I'm talking about your identity as who you choose to be in how you turn up and the actions you take to live and experience life. That's it. Yes, you wear all the different labels and hats, fatherhood, husband, boss, working through the layers of friends or social circumstances and settings with different types of friends, family friends, members, cousins, children. Yeah, all of these different areas of your life all have one thing in common: you. So who you turn up to be and how you choose to turn up ultimately comes down to the right connective chain in place, which becomes the keystone. That's the centerpiece that holds this arch or this bridge of your life from one version to the next together, from which without it, shit will fall apart and you'll never cross that void or chasm to leveling up into who you can become. Sounds great, Al. How do I run the day though, mate? Let's get back to that one. Cool. Well, everything that we've spoken about when I'm talking about keystones and making sure that your shit stays together so you can move forward in life comes down to your habits. A habit is a funny thing though. Like, for something to become a habit, there are studies that range from 20 odd days to 180 days, and there's all these different variables. Awesome, great. And there's obviously past history, but all of this comes down to your conditioning and a belief system. It's that simple. So just saying I'm going to go and join the gym, Al, and train 3 days a week and that'll be a new habit, it's not enough. Because in the keystone that habits form up your life and make your life a higher level of living and experience through what you do autonomously and what you do consciously, are micro keystones. And one of them is ultimately the linchpin to creating success, which is finding the key movement, the key decision, that's the key choice. It has a ripple effect or a domino effect, if you will, to other smaller habits. So what is it for me? Well, it's making a commitment to training at 4:30 this morning. I know if I train at 4:30 this morning, guess what? I was in bed at 9 o'clock. I took my night rider, also had a chamomile tea. I like to have a chamomile tea with some lemon and honey, and it's just something I use to help me settle down and get to sleep as well with the night rider. Beautiful. I was in bed by 9 o'clock. I sleep by 9:15. Got up to the kids, as you do, 3 under 5, a couple of times throughout the night. But I got to bed early enough, knowing full well that I was going to wake up at 4 o'clock and get ready to train. I woke up just before my alarm went off. I was set to go. Even though the alarm was there, that was my safety. Beautiful. Turned that off. Already had all my gym gear sorted. Beauty. Had all my drinks. Had my post-workout shake and my oats that I was going to have. Awesome. Everything's already set. Went to the gym. I knew what I was doing. Everything was planned around it. So literally off the back of making a commitment to training at 4:30 this morning, I had 5 or 6 habits built in already. Like, this is like a reward for me. Like, it's autonomous. It's already done. Non-negotiable. Done. 5 or 6 after, 3 to 4 as I woke up, and 3 to 4 in my wind down the night before. So that one linchpin, that one keystone habit, which is an action, which is autonomous because I've done it long enough, trained for 22 years, is something that created a ripple effect before and after of over a dozen different habits. That is a phenomenal thing, man. So don't underwrite your ability and the power that you have. It'll be another episode I do where I talk about self-control being a sham. Self-control is a sham and discipline is a scam. I don't have self-control. Like, not a great level that people think I do, even though I'm obviously a high performer. I do very, very well physically, mentally, and leading these fathers. Everything I do as a father, as a husband, absolutely, 100%. Man, I tell my wife, don't bring chocolate into the house, I'll eat it. Yeah, if I really had that level of self-control, I'd have chocolate all over the house and it'd be a great game for me. It's not. I don't fucking want to see it. I don't want it in my house. Same with discipline. You only need to be disciplined long enough until it becomes a part of who you are. The difference or the distance between you starting and it becoming a part of who you are is simply a choice. It's a belief system. It's great, Al. So we're finding the keystone. So how I can run the day, because ultimately what you've spoken about has led to an hour or two before bed and then the first 3 hours of your day. That's great. I get that, Al. I understand that. You got your big thing and everything around that has to follow suit, right? Otherwise you won't follow through. Yes, correct. And also understanding the value of that comes down to how much I believe it'll be a part of me. So how do I have a high level of belief in what I'm doing to make sure that it becomes a part of my habit? Good question. Let's dive into that as well. And this isn't about peeling the onion layers back 10 deep. Mate, it's a very straightforward process, but it's got to be specific and personalized for you. It's the ultimate for the way that we present and the way that I serve people. Communication. So delivering it properly. Context. What am I actually talking about? What's the point? What's the purpose? What are you trying to achieve? Comprehension. Do they understand? Do you understand through my communication and what's driving the communication what I'm talking about? Connection. You have those four lined up, you'll start moving forward. You can apply this to yourself so you can serve yourself. You run the day or the day runs you. How do we do it? Find the linchpin. What's the one key thing that I need to put in place from which everything around it becomes easier and autonomous, or a lot of people might say unnecessary or not needed or negligible, because that is a truth. Like I don't need to think about taking a night ride or having my chamomile tea and getting set up for bed. Like it happens. It just happens now. I don't have to think about it. Which means, guess what? I can save my brain power and thinking power for other things that are more important. That's incredibly important. But in terms of importance, it's autonomous. So I don't need to worry about it or give it any more light. It's just part of who I am. It's a belief system. Find the big thing, build the belief system. But above all else, you need to have this order with orders when it comes to creating good habits. The very first point to have order is order. What do you mean now? Enough Jim Carrey, Batman fucking riddles. What you need to start with is the right system. And this is where they miss the mark when it comes to trying to develop a vanilla brand and bland approach towards, and it's great. There's some awesome things out there, but towards habits. To serve a father with stress and chaos in his life who's losing time and less energy to handle the bullshit that he has to, it becomes this fogginess, this drifting type nature where the world is against me. I don't know who I am anymore, and everything seems to be falling down. I might be performing well here and here, but I know I can actually do better, and I'm falling behind. Yes. You need the right system. Systems come first. You must create a system. And then from the system, you need to create behavioral shifts. And then from behaviors, you create patterns and build them into your life. And then these patterns create the habits. Let's dive into them one at a time. Systems. You need to do things in the right order. If you're not doing them in the right order, well, then your life's still full of chaos and you're still fucking around. Perfect example. If I go to train at the gym in the morning and I don't look after my night prep and I don't do that properly, or I go to train in the morning, but I don't get any of my shit together. Or I go to train in the afternoon, but I don't have any time because I've already organized different meetings and different topics that I need to cover for the dads in RDM, for myself or for my family. Okay, well, I can't do it. Like you can have the greatest habits in place, but if you don't structure them, if you don't have them in sequential order throughout the day, this comes down to your nutrition, your food, everything. If you don't structure this and create a system, you have no freedom. You think you lose freedom by being regimented. It's not here to be a fucking military soldier. I told you, you don't need self-control. You don't need discipline. You just need to position yourself for the right environment and the right key elements in those environments that makes the decision for you, and commit. That's it. Like commitment is not a high level of discipline. Commitment is not a high level of self-control. You're only living in one moment at a time. There's only one reality at a time. That's yours right here and now. Like it's that simple, man. People will go into future, fear or fantasy, or live in the past, pleasure or pain, and they're not present at all. And then they're overwhelmed with all these different things. How many things do you think you need to do, mate? You only need to do one thing at a time. There are priorities in your life, but in sequential order, there's only priority. There isn't plural. There's no plural because priority means most important thing. You can only ever have one most important thing. So when it comes down to self-control and discipline, all that sort of shit's just a thing that you create on this pedestal, and put up at this higher level of something that you can't achieve because you're not that type of man, when really it's all a fucking scam. You need the right systems. You need to put things in sequential order where it creates a domino effect, which ultimately creates the ripple of momentum. It's this big snowball. Like, have a look at the day I've had. Yeah, there's been a few variables already. Yeah, there's been a few challenges. There's been a few roadblocks. I'm not here to bore you with all the shit I carry through every day. People will look at my life on the outside and just go, fuck, man, Al is just crushing at everything. And guess what? I am. Absolutely, I fucking am. Doesn't mean I don't hit roadblocks every day. I hit dozens. I hit so many. But when the hurdles come, I don't invite them in, but when they show up in front of me, I welcome them because I know on the other side is a better version that's going to fucking crush it. The end. This is how you need to approach your life. One thing, belief system. What I just said then is focusing on the most important thing, and my belief system is through the roof where I know I can do it. I mean, it's a quote I have on the board there from Michael Jordan. Why would I think about missing a shot I haven't taken yet? It's hilarious. Like, through technology and different access to different environments, people just live in complete scarcity because they actually don't focus on the true gift of life, which is the energy and the time in the present that they have right here and now to move forward 1%. It's got to be done in the right order, though. Be smart, right? You've got to be smart and strategic in your approach. It has to be done in the right order, which takes us to the next one. Okay, well, how are you turning up for that? Part belief system, yes, but part attitude. This is your mental framework. What's your attitude like? Whether you want to do it or not, what is your attitude like? These are the systems. Awesome. I have to do it in this order, Al. This order is going to complete my day. Family, self, and service. I'm moving forward. I'm buying time. I'm going to have more energy. I'm looking after myself. Okay, I'm winning. I'm winning the day. I break my day into quarters. I got to break my day into quarters as well. 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. is quarter one. 9 a.m. to 1 is quarter two. 1 to 5 is quarter three. 5 to 9 is quarter four. Done. So when I get up a little bit before, beautiful, this is a bonus. I'm just setting up. If I'm awake a little bit later, yeah, no worries. That's okay. But they're my quarters. I win every single quarter. That's the goal. Sometimes I draw. There are draws. And sometimes I lose. But I aim to win every single day. It's got to be done in the right order. Win the quarter, win the day. From there, how are you turning up? What's your behavior like? Your behavior is your attitude, your approach, your mental approach. Yes, part belief, but it's your mental attitude towards what it is that you need to do. Because when you've got everything structured and organized and set, ready to rock and roll, you need to get into it with the right headspace to go, yes, I am taking relentless action. Yes, I am going to claim what is mine, which then takes you into the line of action, which is the patterns. You must have the right systems in place. Awesome. How are you turning up to then ultimately integrate and initiate these actions? What's the frequency? That's what a pattern is. Something repeated again, 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 again. What's your frequency like? You can do a gym session once a fortnight for 40 years, and the output and return on investment is fuck all. Be nothing. There's a sweet spot. Rhythms and cycles of the universe, your life as organic beings, as humans, doesn't mean you should go do 10 sessions in 10 days if you haven't trained for a period of time. Not at all. I don't even do that. Why would you? Doesn't make sense. Train every single day. Awesome. Good for you. What has led you to build up to that? Yes, there are build-ups. It's another part of our habits philosophy, solid, liquid, gas. How do we break things down? How do we build things up? Save that for another episode. When we're looking at this, we're establishing the frequency. The frequency has to be sound for you to expand and grow. And what sound is something that's a little bit uncomfortable. It's a little bit challenging, but it's absolutely achievable. A little bit challenging, absolutely achievable. That will reinforce your confidence. That will build your competence. I have done it, Al. I can do it. Which raises the bar to go again. It builds your certainty. Confidence, competence, certainty. Yes. Mentally, physically moving forward. Frequency. Patterns. These patterns must be in something that's aligned for you to improve who you are as well. Because you don't want to do something that's uncomfortable, challenging, yet achievable, that's moving you away from what you want. So this whole goal in mind, the whole time is going, all right, well, what am I doing What am I doing with this? Okay, what's the order? The order of this is the system. No worries. How am I turning up to approach all of these transitions as well, all the different periods where I'm entering different areas of the day, different environments, different headspaces? Okay, cool. How am I turning up? What are the patterns? How often am I doing this? What's the frequency like? How is this coordinated with myself and my life and what my body or mind can handle? Beautiful. Brilliant. How do I make this autonomous and then turn into a habit? By having that belief system and following through on the first three, and then having the conscious awareness to reinforce it. Systems in the right order. Behavior. What's your mental attitude like? How are you turning up? Patterns. How often are you doing it? Habit. It becomes autonomous. I'm consciously aware that it's autonomous. I'm consciously aware of how it's serving me to move me forward in my life. It is a belief system of who I now am. Done. I want you, as we wrap up this episode, I want you to have a think about something in your life that you wish to cut away and something in your life that you wish to bring in. Al, I want to lose 10 kilos. Okay, cool. You got to find the driver behind it to change a belief system. Why? What's the outcome you want to have? No worries. Awesome. That's the outcome. Okay. What does it mean to you when you get that? How's it going to affect you, your family, your children, your own self-worth, certainty, value? Why is it a goal worth chasing? What's the purpose? What's the driver? Okay, so you got clarity now on why it's important to chase this goal. What are the targets? What must you achieve? What are the actions to get there? No worries. Now, this is the base and the foundation from which all transformations happen. Ask yourself this question: who would the version of me need to be to take the actions necessary to then realize the outcome and have it as a part of my life and a byproduct of who I now am? What sort of person would behave this way? What sort of person would carry themselves to create that end result? And then bridge that gap, the A to B. Who do I need to become? You bridge that gap, keystone. Awesome. What's the most important thing? Build around that. And then when you have all that said and done, what you can then do is then create a very simple process where it's a system. Okay, what do I need to do to make sure that I execute on these three things to move forward and win the day? No worries. What's my mantra? What's my affirmation? How am I going to turn up? What are my alarms? What are my notifications? What are my reminders? What's my accountability? What will I do to put myself in the right headspace? Not just motivation or inspiration, the right headspace and behavior to make sure I execute on those key things so I can move forward. How often will I do this? How often can I do this? Is this nurturing? Is this skewed too much one way? See, I can train 6-7 days a week, no worries at all. I can become an elite athlete again, no dramas at all. I can get up in that top 1% for sure. But what's it costing me in my family, my relationships, in my business, in RDM? Is it worth it? Do I really need that at this stage of my life? How is this moving my life forward in family, self, and service? So understanding and establishing the frequencies, the patterns, the frequency. How often? All right, how often can I do it? Because there is no such thing as balance. Like, you don't need a balanced life, but life is a balancing act. You are juggling. You're constantly juggling. Going almost too far this way, brain, peel it back. Going here, peel it back, go back there, go back there. Like, for me, I've hooked in hard. Like, I worked all through Christmas, did all that. December was a massive month. January, massive month. February, massive month coming up. Huge. I'm going away in March with my family for a few nights. I still see my children every day. I'm still present, right? I've bought 2 to 3 hours a day back. I'm spending plenty of time with them, but I am slightly biased and skewed towards business, towards my life and my life's work in building RDM and evolving RDM. But then that's countered by having time away where I'm solely present and completely engulfed in my family, what they need of me, what they desire of me 100% of the time. So yeah, throughout the day, of course, I give them time, morning and night, drop them off, pick them up from school, daycare. It's amazing. It's incredible because I'm buying back my time, my freedom, my life, because I'm nourishing and moving the body. I'm buying my time back with how I organize my day and getting the systems in place, the behavior of how I turn up, the patterns and frequency. So it's autonomous. I got more mental capacity and power to perform, and it's a habit. All these different little habits are giving me more time, giving me more energy, and giving me family, self, and service. You can do it too. It is possible. It is possible to have all of this. You can have all three. Don't listen to people who say, you only ever be a husband or a businessman and a father. You can only do 2 well. And all. No, you can do all of them well. You can. If you are willing to break through the stories and bullshit mold of what you've created around yourself and break out of that shell to become a higher caliber man. 100%. I hope this has added some value to your life, and ask yourself during this, you've asked yourself a few key questions on what serves you and what doesn't. Because tell you right now, I'm never going to tell anyone what to do. But if I came into your house and audited you and gave you an audit, test of time, how are you spending your time? What are you spending on? You are fucking bleeding hours, man. You are bleeding hours for your children, for your family, for yourself. You'll never get back. Let that sink in. I'm not a hard ass, and I'm not judging anyone. Never do. Can't. It's impossible. Unless I live in your shoes, which is physically impossible. I understand. I empathize. I listen. I'm a sounding board. I'm a filtration system too. I only give you the truth on the level. Not a Nazi, not a cheerleader, pom-poms of positivity, on the level. The truth always wins. But I promise you right now, mate, you apply these principles to your life, creating systems, the right behavior, the patterns, frequency, making it a habit, autonomous with something that you're consciously aware of and you know is moving you forward. And it's a belief system of who you are. You will level up your life. You will level up your life. There is no alternative. There's no time for one. There's no room for one. People who gossip and whinge or worry or they're scared, all of them, they're fucking bored. That's it. You are bored. You should be doing more. If you've got time to gossip or gasbag or talk shit about someone or whinge or worry or nag or be scared or driven by fear, you are bored. You are wasting time. There is fucking way more that you can do with your life. Way more. And that's the truth, not an opinion. And that might be your truth, but that's okay. It doesn't make you who you are. It's who you were, which is, as I wrap this up, part of your identity, which can be formed with new habits that can be immediate. Remember your identity. It's who you choose to be in any given moment, but then backing that up with action to reinforce it as truth. That second one's important. Otherwise, I'm Superman ready to fly away. All right? You can choose to be whoever you want. If you're living out of future fear or fantasy, or you're living with past pain or pleasure, doesn't take away a fact of the only thing that actually ever exists, which is right here and now, and the only thing that will influence your future and your past, which is right now. Take care. Hope you have an amazing day, night, weekday, weekend, whenever you're listening to this. This is a powerful episode. I urge you to listen to it again, take notes, write down some key things on what you know you need to change in your life and how you need to turn up as a man, how often you need to implement this. Don't fuck around. Don't beat around the bush. I'm going to walk once a week, Al. Awesome. After you do that for 2 weeks, you need to change your game up a little bit. You can't just sit. You can't stagnate and just settle. Life isn't about that. You consistently seek growth, influence those around you, and continually raise the bar in your life. I promise you, mate, you will win. You will move forward and you will be your greatest creation ever. Take care and I'll see you soon.